My name is Tarmack, and this is your game industry news wrap-up for the week of January 28th, 2017. Amid some troubled development, InXile Entertainment has cut a few items for their kickstarted game Torment Tides of Numenera, which were tied to stretch goals during the funding crunch leading up to the game itself. A few specific companions were cut, along with Italian localization and the crafting system. As cautious as people need to be around anything related to Kickstarter, developers need to be just as cautious. There are people who will specifically back a project at certain areas because to them that stretch goal is important, and to not include something you said you would if funding got to that certain level, well, it might not meet the legal definition of false advertising, but it sure as hell meets the practical definition of it. All too often developers use stretch goals as a wish list, but it's also nonsensical marketing drivel. Either the feature is essential to the game, or it's not. If you found that the crafting system felt too much like an MMO in Torment, maybe it should have been planned out roughly what would be included before being made an advertised stretch goal. More than 62,000 people apparently are playing Resident Evil 7 by way of PlayStation VR. The title is supposed to be a pretty excellent showcase of virtual reality and is so far the only AAA product which has true VR support, which is definitely a move in the right direction. I do have to question the numbers though. 10% of RE7 gamers playing on PSVR sounds really high, given that Sony hasn't stepped up to brag about great sales numbers amid the proud announcement that they've sold 53 million PlayStation 4s to date. Resident Evil does sound like a good series to get its foot in the door though, and if we're going to continue with a heavy focus on horror games, it might be a good time to invest in companies that make portable defibrillators and adult diapers. In yet more crowdfunding news, Obsidian Entertainment announced a FIG campaign for Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire last week. The campaign, as of this recording, has raised $1.5 million, which is $400,000 over its goal in only a few days, and it has until February 24th still to go. FIG, for those not aware, is a crowdfunding platform that includes both Kickstarter-like donation tiers and an investor option for getting a potential return on investment while backing a game. Of the $1.5 million, about $720,000 is investors and $840,000 is pledges without an investment expectation. I love Obsidian, but they had success with Pillars 1, and to come back to the gamer audience looking for more handouts in advance instead of looking for a proper publisher-investment relationship makes me grumpy. At least by moving to FIG instead of Kickstarter, they've brought a bunch of people to a site that lets them know real, binding investments are a possibility. It remains to be seen how the new administration in the US will affect the game industry over the long term, but some speculation made the rounds last week, with Polygon getting a quick confirmation that the Entertainment Software Association is keeping a very close eye on new rules as they come down the pipe. Nothing has been written into action just yet, but the Trump administration has talked about an import tariff in the past, along with pulling out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership and wanting to renegotiate NAFTA. No further news, but you can expect a Feature Creep episode explaining the impact should a tariff on imports be put in place. There will be no microtransactions and definitely no pay to win. That's a quote from then Ubisoft community manager Nat Chai regarding the title The Division. The game, however, in patch 1.6 coming out soon, will include cosmetic microtransactions by way of a new in-game currency that can only be purchased with real money called premium credits. Merriam-Webster defines premium in a number of ways, but in particular, quote, a high value or a value in excess of that normally or usually expected, end quote. A currency conversion from real money which has actual value to in-game currency which has no actual value was never, is not, and cannot be considered premium. A similar definition already exists for what they're selling that they said they would never sell. Excessive, quote, exceeding what is usual, proper, necessary, or normal, end quote. But then, the iconic publisher is no stranger to repurposing words. It's no wonder my Ubisoft PR reps don't email me back, despite usually giving their games a positive review. And last but not least, with a little extra bit of snark, the Marvel game license seems to be moving around a bit these days. Square Enix and Marvel announced a partnership for the development of the Avengers Project, a title that will be built by Crystal Dynamics, the developers of the new Tomb Raider series. And already we have game media hyping beyond expectations because this is going to be the most amazing thing ever. The problem with that is it's only a name. They haven't said what kind of game it is, so get hyped, you blithering, foolish, game pre-ordering, buy anything with Marvel on the box gamers, because game media is excited and you've got to know why. Some of these game media sites may as well just ask Marvel for a towel to clean up with how much free service they're giving. Jesus, wait for real information. It could be a text-based adventure game, for God's sake. This has been your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the week of January 28th, 2017. Thanks for the support over the years, and if you felt the burning desire to help push me in the slow direction of doing this work full-time, head over to patreon.com/Tarmack and snag yourself a piece of that action. My name is Tarmack. Thanks for watching.